Hey guys, welcome back. Today's video is going to be all about Gather Round Homeschool as we are planning and prepping for the United States government mini unit. If you are new to our channel, my name is Sarah and I am the homeschool mom of 5 children. They are ages 13, 11, 7, 2.5, and an 11-month-old baby. And we are getting ready to start our very first mini unit from Gather Round Homeschool. Now, if you are watching this video, I'm going to assume that you are pretty familiar with Gather Round, but if you're not, I'm just going to give you just a, very brief overview. Gather Round Homeschool is a unit study style curriculum that was authored by Rebecca Spooner, and it has been on the market for just over a year now. It is an all-in-one homeschool curriculum. It covers all of the subjects for all of your kids, no matter what age they are, except for math. So, no matter what age your children are, preschool, elementary, middle school, high school, whatever range of children you have, you can really create a one-room schoolhouse feel and all study the same material together. They have a wide range of units from the human body, different continents like North America, South America, Africa, North American birds, space, and they are also offering mini units. And today I'm going to talk all about your United States government mini units. So when my family does a normal Gather Round Homeschool unit, it takes us about 2.5, maybe 3 hours to do for the day, and there are 20 lessons, which we break up for about 5 to 6 weeks in our homeschool. Well, the mini units are built very much the same. They are 20 lessons, but they are mini. Instead of having 5 worksheets for your child to complete in their notebook, they only have 2. And so I am planning on using our mini unit alongside of our core unit that we are studying. So for example, we have been doing an oceans unit study from Gather Round in the mornings as a family, and I am going to pair our government mini unit alongside of that and do that in the afternoons. So how I'm planning on doing this is we are going to study our government mini unit 2 days per week. We're going to spend about 1 hour to get through 1 lesson at a time, covering 2 lessons per week. I am planning on this mini unit taking us through September, October, November, all, through most of the fall. First thing I do when I am preparing and planning a new Gather Round unit in our home is I head to the Gather Round website and I purchase the digital unit and download it onto my computer. So once I have everything downloaded, I then have to make the decision on what levels I want to print for this unit for our family. So this time around, I went ahead and I printed 1 teacher's guide, 2 of the upper elementary student notebooks, and that's for my 13 and 11-year-old. And then 1 copy of the pre-reader student pages, and that is for my 1st grader who just turned 7. Now, I purposely decided to do these levels with the kids. I wanted this mini unit to be really fun and not overly challenging for them. I didn't want them to get too bogged down working on the worksheets and the projects, since we are pairing this alongside of our normal Gather Round units. We're doing this in the afternoon, and I want this to be laid back and pretty simple and fun. So I went ahead and just bumped all of my kids down a level just to make things really easy for them and fun. I then get busy printing. Now, you guys have heard me talk about my printer. I'm just going to give you another little plug for it real quick. I absolutely love my Brother printer. It is an ink tank style printer. It is a copy machine, a printer, a scanner. I mean, it has all types of functions. It is awesome. I will make sure to link it and any resources that I mention on today's video below in the description box. But if you're shopping for a printer, I can't recommend that one enough. Now, nitty-gritty of printing. I print on 28-pound paper and I print in color, double-sided. I go ahead and go into my settings when I am printing the teacher's guide, and I print at a higher quality when I am printing those pages. When I print the student notebooking pages, I just print those normally, but again, on that 28 1.8-pound paper, two-sided in color. Once I have everything printed, I go ahead and grab my laminator and I laminate the front and back covers for the teacher guide and for all of the student notebooks. Full disclosure, most units I have just used a 3-hole punch and some 3-ring binders and given those to each of the kids, just very, very simple. I know that there's a lot of Gather Round mamas out there who do a lot of elaborate binding systems and things like that. There's a lot of different options on how you want to bind your child's unit together. I am actually in the process of testing out the Happy Planner 365 punch and binding system. I got it on sale at the craft store, and so I've seen some other Gather Round mamas using it, and I thought I would give it a whirl this fall, see what I thought of it. I am actually going to do a video with my thoughts and all of that once we've used it for a couple of units. I'm really kind of curious to see how durable it is and how well it keeps up with all of the kids. So I will get back to you. But for this unit, I went ahead and used that binding system and used the discs to put this together for myself and for the kids. If you are new to homeschooling or new to Gather Round, please just let me encourage you. Don't feel the need to spend a lot of money or a lot of time and effort binding things. Feel free just to throw these in a 3-ring binder or even just staple the pages together. Just keep it simple. While I have my laminator out, I went ahead and printed out the Founding Father cards that were at the back of the teacher's guide, and I went ahead and ran those through the laminator. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with those yet. We may just use them as flashcards. I may string them up and make a little garland as a decoration for our classroom. We'll just see. If you have any ideas or suggestions, leave me a comment down below. Tell me how you use those flashcards and things that are included in the appendix of the teacher's guide from Gather Round. So all in all, hopping on to the Gather Round website, purchasing the unit, printing it, and binding it took me 1 hour. I timed myself this time so I could be really honest with you guys. Now, obviously that will vary from family to family. If you're only teaching 1 student, it may only take you 30 minutes. If you are teaching 7 students, it may take you a couple of hours. So that'll vary from family to family. So the next part of the process is my favorite part of planning and preparing a new unit for the kids. I start brainstorming. I normally will do this on a weekend or on an afternoon when the babies are napping, but this is a time when I spend time getting really familiar with the curriculum. The process that has worked the best for me is I will take the teacher guide along with all of my children's student pages and line them up down our dining room table and flip through one lesson at a time in each book. That way I can definitely get a feel for what I'm going to be teaching and what each of my kids is going to be learning about for that lesson. This is also a time when I grab a really large cup of coffee and a snack and I get on the computer and I just have fun perusing the Gather Round app and Pinterest and other websites like that to just really get inspiration and ideas. For instance, this time I got on Pinterest and I looked up election day crafts and snacks and ways to celebrate election day. I got on the Gather Round app and saw some extra activities and YouTube videos and resources that some mamas had put up in the government community, and so I jotted those down. During the brainstorming process, this is also when I start pulling picture books, chapter books, read alouds, all types of books to put in a book basket to go along with our unit. The first thing I will do is head to my own shelves and see what I already own and have on hand myself. I will also look at the beginning of the teacher guide where there is a suggested book list provided, and it is broken down by age range, pre-reader, elementary, middle school. It will give you all types of suggestions no matter what age your child is. I will take that list and head to my local library's website and start reserving books. And then after I've checked both both of those two places. If there is something that I really want that I don't have or can't get at the library, I will head to Amazon or Barnes & Noble or some type of bookstore and go ahead and order that book. Now, this is also the part of the process where I really enjoy using those teacher planning pages that are provided at the beginning of the teacher guide. First of all, they're beautiful. Just looking at them will make you excited and inspired to study government. But this is also where I will kind of write down books that I want to have for Mariah for every lesson. Mariah is my first grader, and she absolutely loves going over to the book basket every day and pulling a few picture books out. So I want to make sure that I have at least one picture book to go along with every single one of those 20 lessons. All in all, brainstorming can take me a good 2 hours or so. Honestly, it just depends how lost I get on Pinterest or some of those other websites. But this is the part of the video where I'm going to go ahead and just put in here, I'm going to flip through all of the books that we are going to include in our book basket, and I will be sure to link as many of those titles as I can down below in the description box. You guys already know that I normally choose a chapter book from the middle school or high school list to use as a read aloud with my kids during breakfast or lunch, or sometimes I'll buy an audio book on Audible. Well, this time I actually had something I already owned on hand. This was a book that we started last year. It was part of the kids' curriculum with Knotgrass history, and we started this book and never finished it. So I'm excited to pull this back off our shelf. This is called We the People, Words from the Makers of American History. This book is great. It has songs, poems, articles, founding documents from American history, and we really enjoyed the bits and pieces that we did do of this book. So I am just going to pull some readings from this every time we're doing our government studies and use this as our read aloud. Okay guys, so this is the really fun part. Let's talk all of the extras, all those fun activities, crafts, snacks, all of those type of things. This is the part of the lesson planning that I really try to have a lot of fun with. So what I'm going to do as I go through and talk about all of the different extras and activities, I'll start with my toddler and then talk about preschool and elementary school and then head into middle school. And then at the end, I'll share all of the things that we're just gonna do as a family. Okay, so I have a toddler named Ezra who is 2.5 years old, and by no means am I trying to homeschool him. However, I do like to have just some options, some little fun activities for him to do on the days when he toddles in and wants to hang out with us while we're doing homeschool. Now, to be completely honest, he normally is napping in the afternoons during our time when we will be covering government. But I thought it would still be fun to make a sensory bin for him. That's something he really enjoys. And so I already had on hand, these are some of those little tube figures. I have a Statue of Liberty, a Liberty Bell. I mean, all kinds of just like nice little monuments and things like that I'm going to put into a sensory bin for him. I'm thinking I'm going to make it a patriotic theme, red, whites, and blues, maybe use water beads or confetti or something along those lines. Okay, so for preschoolers and elementary school kids, my daughter Mariah is 7 and is in 1st grade this year. So she will definitely enjoy playing in that sensory bin that I am making for Ezra. Now, as I said earlier, she is doing the pre-reader student pages for this unit, and that's mostly because I just really wanted this to be a low-key unit for her. I wanted to be able to pull those coloring pages for her and let her have fun with that. I also want to work on having her memorize the Pledge of Allegiance and all of the presidents. We in our house have sang a president's song to memorize all of the presidents of the United States. It's something we did when we were in classical conversations, and it has just become a part of our homeschool life. So I really want to work on memorizing that song with her. So to help her learn all of the names of the presidents, I do have a couple hands-on things for her. I went ahead and bought this U.S. President placemat. I either got it on Amazon or on Rainbow Resources. I can't remember, one of the two. But you guys know how I love these placemats to use as visuals. This one is really fun. It has all of the presidents all the way through Donald Trump on the front, and it also has all of the first ladies on the back. So we will use this to learn the president's song, and I will have her point to each president as she says the name. The other kind of fun thing that I have for her that we've had for a long time are these fan decks. They're just like a little family field guide, and they have all of the presidents in here, pictures of them that you can kind of fan through, and then just some brief information about each of them. So I thought that would be kind of fun as she's memorizing the names to kind of go through and sing the song and then look at each president's picture as she goes. I'm sure my older kids will use these resources as well, but these are the ones I really want to focus on with Mariah. I'm also planning on doing some type of fun flag craft with her. Maybe we'll do a flag poster or use paints and a canvas and paint the American flag, some type of patriotic craft project. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in just a second when I get to my older kids, but I'm going to work on doing some states and capitals this unit, and so I do have this magnetic USA puzzle that Mariah will definitely enjoy. It's nice and big, and it just has these magnetic states that you can put on here, so this is something she'll really have fun with. I also wanted to take a moment to mention that for the pre-reader pages, the unit project that Mariah will be working on is creating a little book here. You can see some of the pages here where she's going to color and just write. This one is the Liberty Bell, United States symbol, Statue of Liberty, White House. She will be cutting these out and turning them into a book along with other pages throughout the unit. So moving on to my older kids, my middle schoolers, 11 and 13, they are doing the upper elementary student pages. But in all of the student notebooking pages from early reader all the way up into high school, the unit project that they will be working on is creating their own country. And so I think that's going to be really fun. I think my kids will just take that and run with it. In addition to that, I think we may beef up the unit a little bit, and I'm thinking I may have them pick a founding father, or maybe Leah could pick a first lady to do a lap book or maybe a book report or write a paper about something like that. I think it would be really fun for them to just really dive deep into a biography of one of our founding fathers or presidents or first ladies. So I'm going to encourage them to do that. I also have some memory work that I would like them to work on. I realized this was like a homeschool miss of mine. My kids do not know all the words to the Star Spangled Banner. So I want Noah and Leah to memorize the Star Spangled Banner. And I also want to go back through and review all of the states and capitals with them. This was something they did work on in geography a couple of years ago, but I have a feeling they're a little bit rusty. So I went ahead and pulled all of our states and capitals extras, and I'll show them to you here. I again have one of these fan dexes for each of the 50 states. It gives the capital city and just information about each of the states. This was something I got for free at a homeschool conference, but I think you can buy these at Barnes & Noble. It's called an Albert Einstein quiz mark, and it just goes through and it has, what is the capital of Illinois, and you can flip it and it has a little viewfinder on the back and it will show you the capital is Springfield. And it's just kind of like a secret code kind of thing. You can't read it unless you have it in this bookmark, so I'm sure Noah will really enjoy this. I also just have some flashcards for the states and capitals that we can use. This is definitely an extra, not so much an activity, but a couple of years back I bought this Trick Geography USA Teacher's Guide. This is a curriculum. If you've never heard of this company, it's really interesting. It is great for visual learners. They basically take different places around the world, this one being the United States, and help you come up with visuals for each state to help you memorize where the state is. So for instance here you can see Utah has a U and it is pointing up like a U-turn, Utah. So my kids will probably have fun looking through this. I may use this just to kind of help guide us as we are doing states and capitals. Are purposely studying U.S. government during election season here in the States. And so I am planning on making election day in November, quite the day. I'm thinking that we will get red, white, and blue streamers and decorate around the house. Maybe we'll make a flag cake. Several years ago on election day, I actually found a kit at Trader Joe's where we built, it was kind of like a gingerbread house, White House. So if Trader Joe's has something like that, I'll probably pick that up and do that again this year. I'm also planning on printing out blank maps to have the kids color in each of the states as the election is happening and talk about the Electoral College. Just anything to really celebrate the election and make it a big day in our house. So as far as movies, I am sure there are lots of documentaries and different things on streaming sites. 3 of the things I think we are going to focus on is we own all of the Liberty Kids DVDs, so we'll definitely be watching those. Also some of the Schoolhouse Rock songs, and then my kids have been watching Hamilton on Disney Plus, my older kids especially. Now I would mention to you there is some language and maybe some scenes that would not be good for younger kids, so use your discretion with that. Okay, so I am definitely going a little bit heavy-handed in the board games, puzzles, activities. Bear with me. I did own most of these already, so I didn't have to spend any money out of pocket. First of all, I have the Professor Noggin's History of the United States and Presidents of the United States games that I know Noah and Leah in particular will really enjoy. I also found this Who Was, What Was, Where Is playing cards game. I think Grandma stuck this in somebody's stocking last year for Christmas, so they will definitely enjoy playing this. This game was handed down to me from another veteran homeschooler, the Scrambled States of America game. This will be really fun, especially as we're talking about all of those states and capitals. Also, I think every homeschooler owns Ticket to Ride. Again, just, you know, it's not necessarily government themed, but it's America themed, so it will definitely go in the vein of studying United States government. Lastly, I had a couple of puzzles on the shelf. This one is only a 60-piece USA map puzzle, and then I also had this 500-piece American collection. This is just a really cute 4th of July themed, very patriotic puzzle. Leah is definitely my puzzle girl in this house, and so she will have a lot of fun putting this one together. Okay guys, well that wraps things up for today. We are so excited to jump in and start studying United States government. Like I said, this is the first mini unit that we have tackled in our house, so I'm really interested to see how it goes, pairing that alongside of our normal Gather Round unit studies. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, like it below, and leave me a comment. Tell me if you're a Gather Round Homeschool family and what unit you are currently planning and preparing for. And if you haven't done so already, please hit that red subscribe button below. I make new videos every week about education, homemaking, and everyday life. See you later. Hello, we have a visitor. Hello, you gonna help me?